To be honest, I love connecting people over food. So when people are having like a family event or a milestone and they're connecting over delicious food, I think that's like the nicest thing ever. And so much of our culture is surrounded by food. So it's just nice that it could just keep going in different forms, like a bridal shower or like just because a get-together dinner, a lunch with your friends. So it's nice. There's always going to be an occasion to celebrate, and like, why not celebrate over delicious food?
Welcome to Chapters by Propel, where we take a peek into the real lives of trailblazing community women with a mix of honesty, humor, and inspiration. I'm your host, Melanie Kuehl, and this is just part of the story. Welcome to Chapters by Propel. I'm your host, Melanie Kuehl, and I am so excited to have today Eileen Missry, who is also known as Kardio and Kale. We also have a super exciting sponsor today. If anyone is interested, as a side note, in sponsoring an episode of our podcast, please DM Propel so we can keep doing this amazing work with all of these incredible women. Eileen, I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
So even though this podcast is not about me, I'm just going to start by saying that Eileen and I, in the summer, really share driveways. Like, our driveways are side by side. And so
True.
I've watched Eileen like for the last 20 years. And now I really pretty much just hang out in the driveway waiting for her to come out with like extra dessert or cookies, pints of ice cream. And
Yes, ice cream.
So I was so excited for you to come and actually tell me what is going on behind those walls. I know there's a lot.
There is a lot.
So I really don't know like where you began, but when and how did you start baking?
So growing up, I loved being in the kitchen with my mom, my grandma. I literally fell asleep to the Food Network every single night. I just love food. I love to eat it. I love to cook it. And in the middle of high school, I switched schools. I was in a more secular school. So I had a lot of free time on my hands. And I started just baking random gluten-free things for like my family, my cousins. And I was getting comfortable with gluten-free baking when it was first beginning. Back then, nobody even knew what a gluten-free was. So I started making cookies, and then I got a customer, and the customer spiraled. And then when COVID hit, my friends would always ask me for dinner recipes. Maybe it was a few years before. So I just made an Instagram account. It was called Live to Eat, where I posted my meals, random, like ugly food pictures, nothing fancy, nothing pretty, but like easy. And I gained a following, not so large, but I gained a nice amount of followers. And then once COVID hit, maybe COVID was 2020. Oh my God, I'm totally skipping. Okay, so it was 2014 was my first post on Kardio and Kale. So I changed the name from Live to Eat to Kardio and Kale. And I just started posting easy recipes, things to make, nothing crazy, like muffin here and there. And then slowly, more people were following me. And I was like, why are these people? Like, why are they following me? Is this for my friends? And then once COVID hit, that's when I went into the catering.
Okay. So I want to go back to 10 different things you said.
Okay.
But one, when you started baking cookies, like, how did your first customer find you?
She was actually my cousin.
Okay.
She ordered a s'mores pie, I'll never forget, and she served it for her company, who also happened to have been gluten-free. And then it just spiraled. I started selling cookies by myself, not into the stores. And soon after they gained a following, I like presented myself to retailers. I was an associate. I was in Urgi's. I was in Deal Food. Deal Food's like my number one supporter. I love Robin.
So what I actually want to know is clients sometimes ask like how you go from baking for a customer to going into stores or to retail. So like, how did you decide it was time to go to retail, and how did you approach retailers and say like, hey, I bake cookies, can I sell at your store?
So thankfully at the time that I started, there was nobody who had gluten-free cookies on the market. So really I was one of the only ones, if not maybe there was two people, but they weren't the same category kind of things. They were very different. So I just said, like, I have cookies. People love them. I'd love to try to sell them here. And they said, okay, let's try it. And thank God, thank Hashem, like they really sold out week after week after week. But in terms of like scaling the recipe and things, I'm very anal when it comes to things. And if they don't pass my standards, I will not sell it. But I still literally make every single batch of cookie dough myself. And then I have a team that'll like scoop it, bake it, roll it, whatever. But like the main recipes, all small batch, done individually, tailored to every store. So like I don't do a large, I would say once you expand so big, you lose that luster of your product. So like in order for me to keep it like a home style bakery, I still like micromanage my orders. So I do it on smaller scales.
It's unbelievable that you make every single batch of cookie dough.
I know. It's crazy.
And I see those like lines and lines, scoops of cookies, and I
It's the
wonder.
best sight to see. It's crazy. It looks like a factory, but it works.
It does look like a factory, which is why it's more
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean,
that
thank
you're
God I
doing it.
used to work way more than I do now. So now I have it tailored to the day the cookies are going to be delivered to the store. So to be honest, there's like a secret recipe that my cookie dough needs to sit for a little bit. So I do scoop one day, bake one day, store the next. So really it works well. And I guess I'm working smarter, not harder. So I prep the dough, I do everything, and the rest could be handled by someone else.
It's great.
It's great. I do love it.
I know you love it. So now you were baking and you sold to all of the stores, and at some point this became catering also.
Yes.
So how did that happen?
So I was really posting delicious recipes on my Instagram, and I guess you're either like a great home cook or you want something a little bit more extravagant, like there's no in between. So I guess someone just wanted a little bit different, a different kind of menu for her. It was someone's event. I think it was like her son was getting married and she's like, I need help making a dinner. I said, okay, no problem. And it was like a snowstorm that day. And I was like, oh my God, how am I getting there? What am I going to do? And I got there. It was great. They loved the food. They were so happy that I did it. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm going to roll with this. And then COVID happened and there was no restaurant. So thank God that was like a big plus for me. And it really helped me grow my brand.
So now you were doing the baking and also doing the catering at the same time.
So really, I have to organize my weeks like weeks in advance. For example, today, right? You wanted me to come in for the podcast. I already had a cooking class scheduled. So I was like, okay, great, that works. So I really stack up my days where I'm able to work and I'm also able to have a little bit of a breathing time, So like I delegate one day a week for the cookies. And the rest of the days, I'll either curate based off a catering event or a cooking class. I like to schedule at least one each week, but there's also some weeks that I don't have any. So then I do content, So it's never ending. It's a full cycle that just keeps going.
And do you feel like, Eileen, because another question that Propel clients ask is like, how do you grow a business? So after you started, you did this first event and you made dinner. Do you feel like then you purposefully started to grow your business? Did it grow organic? Like, how did that happen?
It really, thank God, grew organically. Like, I'll never forget when someone's like, can you do my bris for me? And it was a neat bris at night. I'm like, me? You want me to do it? Like, why are you trusting me? Like, really, thank God all my clients put their utmost trust in me. And it's so nice to see because at the end of the day, I will do the best job. And it's nice to see that they want to give you that opportunity to do that, And that's something so special about this community that everyone just like helps everyone out no matter what it is, So like, I remember when my friend was starting business, I dropped everything and I literally told her, okay, this is what you're going to do. And this is how you're going to calculate what your cupcakes cost and everything. So it's kind of nice because it's like an ever growing circle.
And in terms of something you just mentioned that also I wanted to hit upon, I don't know if you have a system and different people who have been here have different systems.
Right.
But how would you advise someone? Because it's something else people ask, like how to calculate what they charge. So let's just start with like cookies, cupcakes. Do you have a system in how you charge or how you started charging?
So when I first started, I had one of those grandma style yellow notepads and it's the best notepad ever. And I sat and I went to every store and I bought every ingredient that I needed for s'mores pie, for my carrot cookies, for chocolate chip cookies, for bark, you name it. I went through every single ingredient and I wrote it down, how much it cost and how many batches I yielded from the price. So at that point, I knew how much to charge for cookies, right? But now, obviously, everything's getting so much more expensive. So I really can't cap $20 a dozen of cookies, even though it should be a little bit more, but I just can't. So that's for cookies. And for catering, no two events are ever going to be the same. And no two clients are ever going to get the same price. It's really tailored to detailing. So like, let's say I'm going to be there, it's going to be plated. So that's also more of my time. So I'm going to be there for 3 hours extra, plating it, coursing it out with the waitresses. Then another instance would be if they need help planning. So like I've recently been doing more of this than I've ever thought I would be, setting tables, doing the florals, ordering the platters, getting everything from the alcohol, you name it, like a full-blown party planner. So obviously an event like that's going to cost a little more because it's more of my time. But to be honest, I always try to work with everyone because it's like, how much could you charge somebody, especially with things getting more expensive. So like I like to work with my clients to make it work for them and make it work for me. That's the most important thing.
Which is amazing and very kind of you. And I know how much work and time goes into everything that you do. Do you also find you're having repeat clients? Like you must have relationships with some of these people.
I really do have the most amazing clients. A lot of them are repeat and some are new. They're really awesome. They trust me. I trust them. And it just flows. It just works perfectly. Thank God.
What do you love most about what you do right now?
To be honest, I love connecting people over food. So when people are having like a family event or a milestone and they're connecting over delicious food, I think that's like the nicest thing ever. And so much of our culture is surrounded by food. So it's just nice that it could just keep going in different forms, like a bridal shower or like just because a get together dinner, a lunch with your friends. So it's nice. There's always going to be an occasion to celebrate, and like why not celebrate over delicious food?
I mean, I couldn't agree
Ugh,
more. I love good food, and I also do feel like food creates community and gets people together. And so much of it is about whether it's Shabbat or it's a lunch or it's a dinner with friends,
right.
just like you remember being at the meal. And your meals
It's true.
always look gorgeous
Thank you.
and like a lot of fun.
Thank you.
So, on top of baking the cookies and catering, and now it sounds like you've become an event planner, you're also a huge content creator. And I think that for me, one of the things I love about your Instagram account is that it's so authentic.
Thank
It's
you.
really, really you. I can like tell that it's you, whether you're in the taxi on a rainy day or you, like last week, dropped a sweet potato on the floor in the
Oh my
city
God,
because you
I
didn't
was
buy the
there
bag,
crying.
which I can relate to. It's really so real and true. And I look to you to see like what should I do and what should I buy.
Right.
And I think it's probably another whole full-time job. Um,
It definitely is. And it's funny because people really think they know so much of my life, but if I tell you it's the 1% that I post, it's crazy. But it's so nice because I've been doing something recently that I wake up in the morning, instead of grabbing my phone, I reach for a book and I read for at least 15 minutes. And I can't even begin to tell you the amount of people who said, "Wow, thank you so much. I really needed that. I'm going to try this." And someone messaged me last week. I tried it and I feel so much more at ease, less anxious. I'm like, "Great. Like I'm so happy." So really, whenever I do post like these random things that I think no one's gonna like, it ends up really helping people.
Again, and so you're much more than just a caterer and a cookie
It's called
baker.
the lifestyle.
Now
I think
it's
what's
all about your life. Yes.
yeah, it's nice.
I see you all over the place. Was there a specific like post or moment that you felt like you were really making an influence, or was it more of like slow growth as far as your content creation?
So to be honest, for content creation, it is a slow growth. I've been doing this for a while. I love what I do, so I just do it organically. But I will say that one post that went like viral was my yabra with artichokes and kibbeh balls. Like I didn't understand how something could just like break the internet, and it really did. And I was so confused. It was like something that I just made for my mom all the time, and I just started to post. I'm like, oh, maybe someone's gonna think I'm so weird that I'm mixing kibbeh balls and yabra together. And I guess it wasn't weird because everybody loved it, and people make it week after week after week. So I was very shocked when that happened.
It also probably feels so good that people are so excited to make what you're making.
I mean, it's so nice. I do specifically love Shabbat food, so I always post a lot of Shabbat food because I love Shabbat myself. It's a major disconnect for me during the week because my weeks are crazy. So when I see that people make my recipes for Friday night, I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. Like my recipes are on your dinner table. Like that's crazy.
I know it is.
It's like, how? I sometimes still can't believe that I do what I do, you know?
It's so nice.
It's cool.
Um, I want to know how your grandma got involved in the Instagram posts because those are some of my
Oh,
favorite
my
posts.
grandma. It's funny because people have been stabbing me nonstop. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, I'm embarrassed at this point because it's like they're obsessed with my grandma. But I love my grandma. And to be honest with you, we'd always go for dinner at her house on Friday nights. And she's a huge part of why I love to cook. She makes these awesome recipes. And growing up, some grandmas really make things from like way back in Syria the same exact way. Like my grandma modernized it in a way. So like she's not going to be sitting there rolling yevras, but like so sometimes scoop her own squash or whatever. But I really learned all my tips and tricks from her. So when I said, grandma, I want to get your kibbeh mushroom recipe because it's really the best kibbeh mushroom ever. And even if I try to make it, it will not compare. And I said, let's post it. And, we have the same name. So I was like, cooking with my namesake. That's another thing I did not expect to have the reach it did. She's like, 17,000 people saw my video. She's freaking out, freaking out. And then she's like, let's do another one. Let's do another one. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I was in Jersey this weekend for Mother's Day. I was on my way back to the city. And she's like, let's do sambusa. I was like, okay, let's do it this week. And she's like, no, I'm going to Israel. Like, we have to do it this week. Like, as in one day later. I'm like, all right, I made a U-turn. I went back to Jersey. And I'm like, all right, we're filming sambusak. And we did it. And she literally yelled at me. She goes, put yours on a separate tray because they're not the same as mine. And I want people to know which are mine and which are yours. So I said, okay, no problem. So, as great as a cook as she is, she has some very strict rules. So
So yes, we all love your grandma. And I know that you and I have spoken about how your mom has been like a huge influence on you.
Yes, I love
Also.
my mom. My mom is the best. Thank you, Mom, for everything that you do for me. Really, growing up, my mother was super health conscious way before being healthy was cool. And she was very strict on us. And we really rarely had white flour. We always had a different kind of brown rice pasta. All of our school snacks were like really, really healthy that I want to switch my snacks for my friend's nacho cheese. So I'm forever, forever grateful for her now because I'm so well versed and I know everything that I know about health and wellness from my mother. Like I take vitamins like they're candy, but when I started my business gluten free, I really had all the knowledge about like the gluten free oats, the almond flour, all the different flour substitutes I was really well versed in because we always had tiger nut flour, all these random things in my pantry. So to be honest, when I first started doing gluten free cookies, it's because it was what was natural to me. I never actually used Hecker's flour before until I made challah. So that's one thing that I'm so thankful for because she really, really spearheaded my business in this industry.
Was anyone did you have to cook gluten-free for any reason?
No. A few years later down the line, my sister was like, "Oh, I should be gluten free." The doctor said, so now she doesn't eat gluten.
But at
Like
the time, it was
the
just health.
extent of bread you'll ever see in my house is Ezekiel bread. So really, 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 that's how I had all the knowledge because I was always testing all these different things, gluten free graham crackers, this and that, the best chocolate, the Enjoy Life chocolate chips. Like you'll never ever find another brand. So really, it was my pantry that also helped me, which obviously thanks to my mom because she was so knowledgeable in the health department.
Yeah, I know she's a great cook too.
She's the best cook. People like think she doesn't cook, and I'm so embarrassed because like they think I make every meal. But sometimes when I go home, I love helping my mother. So she's like, okay, you could do this and this and this. So I help her, but obviously she still cooks.
Yeah.
People think she's off the hook.
It helps to have you around,
It
I'm
definitely
sure.
does help to have me around.
And I also didn't ask you, where does all this cooking happen? Because I know at least originally it was happening in your home. I don't know, in Brooklyn, in Deal, somewhere. Does it all still happen at home?
It does all still happen at home. I'm actually looking to move out. My kitchen out, I should say. But thank God I use my kitchen and my grandma's kitchen. So I have two. My grandma doesn't use her kitchen at all, so she lets me. And I split it up. So I really curate my schedule with a fine tooth comb. If I have two back-to-back parties, I have to make sure, like, if it's one's meat, one's dairy, I'll split up the houses or certain things like that. So it's really all logistics. But thank God I'm a very organized person and I can do it all seamlessly. And I also really like to work when no one's around. That way it's much faster for me and it's quicker and it's cleaner. So that's really what I do. I work the midnight hours.
Do you really? Is that when you work best at night?
I work best at night, but the days that I do cookie days are designated. No one's allowed in the kitchen. Everybody knows the counters get covered. JSOR comes in, like it's a whole to do. And then for catering days, it's a little bit different. I really prep and plan out like what needs to be done. And in the summer, I like to use the grill a lot. So if it's like for a meat party, we'll do, I wouldn't say like a grill forward menu, but something that could be split up into two so I can get the oven space versus the outdoor barbecue. Everything's really planned thoughtfully. Also based off like a client's needs. Someone wants salads. That's easy. Wake up 12 o'clock or go to sleep 2 in the morning, whatever it is, and just knock it out.
So you sound super organized, Eileen.
Very organized.
Super. What are your systems being organized? Are you like notes in your phone? Are you still like with your yellow paper?
If you have any systems to give me, I will take them. I'm so old fashioned. I literally sit there and write it out on a piece of paper. I have a folder. So once I get a client, I print out the menu and then I go through the menu and I itemize the menu. Then after itemizing the menu, I make shopping lists based off the stores. So like I'll have an Uri's, I have an Instacart, I'll have a retail, like a wholesaler, I'll have the butcher. Sometimes I like to get one thing from one butcher, one thing from the neck. So there's a million stores that are going to be on my list because everything comes from a different place, like a specific vinegar from this store or that. So it's all about timing. So like let's say I know I have a party this week coming up. I have to start from 3 days before. I sit down, lock myself in my room literally for an hour, do the list. And then if I have to order specific things in advance, so they come in time, I have to place that order beforehand. So I really like to write things down because then it gets etched in my brain. And thereafter, I'll put it in my phone. I'll put it in my notes. Sometimes I really use Google Docs a lot. I really like it.
Okay, so it sounds like there is a real system here.
There is a real system, but I probably should get ahead of like the ChatGPT system,
There's also something about paper and a pencil. At least for
100%.
me too. To cross it out, it's just not
Oh
the
my
same
God.
as when you
Crossing
delete it in it.
lists, no better feeling in the world.
Do you write things after so then you can cross them off? Because sometimes I already did it. Oh, it's only me.
Sometimes I will. If I forget something and then I did it, then I will. But like day of event, I create another list and I separate it in what to do first, you know? So like, let's say the morning hour to do, cross it off. Then you have an afternoon hour to do, cross it off. And then before I leave, I also have to remember, like, you have to take gloves for the waitresses. You have to do all these things. Like, if you need a lemon zester, a grater, a microplane, a scissor, I write that on a list too to bring because you can't forget that.
If all else fails, you should just be organizing all of us because it really sounds like you have this down pat.
My closet is literally color coded by length of sleeve to color jean. Like, it's a problem.
Okay, so generally that's how like an event will work. And you're saying you've done all different kinds of events. Can you think of any event that was like extra challenging or maybe even threw you for a loop?
To be honest with you, I have a few. One of them being a Shabbat dinner in Arizona. I had to send my food maybe 2 weeks in advance, frozen, and I was like panicking. Is my food going to make it there frozen on the truck? You know, I had to sit there and shrink wrap every single tin multiple times so nothing opens. Layered it into another tin because you really don't want anything to spill, even though it's frozen. Like, God forbid it just doesn't freeze on the way there, you know? But thankfully, I got there and everything was A-okay, packed perfectly. And another event that I did was a 4-day yoga retreat in Bradley, New Jersey. And for kashrut reasons, we really couldn't kosher their kitchen. So I had a home base out of my house and I went back and forth to the hotel maybe 3 or 4 times. So breakfast had to be served by 7:15. So I was up 4 in the morning, prepping, getting it there. It took like 35 minutes to get there. So I had to allot 35 minutes there and 35 minutes back. That's like an hour and 10 minutes already of my day of work to get there for 3 meals. So I was like, whoa. But it worked out perfect. It was seamless. I loved it. It was awesome.
And you did 3 meals a day for the 4 days?
3 meals of vegan meals. So no meat, all vegetable proteins. It was great.
What do you love to eat? What's your favorite thing?
Me, I'm a protein girl. I love meat. I love meat. Like, I don't need 4 salads a day. I could just eat 1 salad, steak, and more steak. But I like to really balance my meals, and I'm a very big breakfast person. Like, if I don't eat breakfast, don't come near me. Like, I need to start my day off with breakfast.
I see your breakfast and I'm always jealous of them because you say like this was quick and easy, but it's like an avocado toast with a little bit of an omelet, with a little salad, with the chopped whatever. It
To be
looks
honest,
amazing.
Thank you. Everything really can be quick and easy. It's all about having prepared fridge and great pantry staples and great ingredients on hand that you really can whip something up super fast. You know, for example, yesterday I posted some like crispy rice pancake and everybody went wild. I'm like, I literally just sauteed ground turkey with vegetables and I put it into a rice paper. And everyone's like, what's the recipe? Not that there is no recipe, but that's how I like to cook. Super quick, fast, and clean. So I basically just have all different kinds of vegetables on hand that I like to eat. And I prep some of them. Some of them I do buy pre-cut from Orde's because, you know, time-saving hacks.
Yeah.
And I keep a well-stocked fridge. And that's what really aids in delicious meals throughout the week. They're not only great for you, but they're also nutrient dense and they're nutritious. You know, like you don't have to have the pasta. You don't have to have the rice. It's all about having the right vegetables that'll complement the protein that you're going to make.
And so that's how you kind of, it sounds like, think about a meal. How do you think about recipes? Like when you're really developing a recipe, like how does that happen?
So most of them happen in the middle of the night and they pop into my head and I wake up in the morning and I forget about them. And when I do remember, I write them out. I have like a document on my phone where I have different categories of different things that I A, like to eat and B, want to make. So I have a sweets category, a snacks, a breakfast, a lunch, a savory. And really a lot of things that I do end up posting happen to be my meals. But then again, like I have these one-off things that people love, like the magnolia pudding I made. So I like to keep it a mix of the two, healthy, not healthy, and some indulgent things, just like to have a little bit of for everybody. So most of the things is because I like to eat them. And some of them, it's because it's a great hosting dish. Like I had like a creamy baked tagliatelle pasta. Like that's like a once in a lifetime thing that like you'll see at my table. But like when I'm catering parties, everybody loves it. So I make it all the time. You know,
Sounds
called
delicious.
balance, which is really how
delicious.
I run my life, the balance.
I know. It does sound like that. And that actually brings me to another great point, which is I know you love to read and you love to travel. I know you're exercising and you're with friends and you're with family. So, like, how do you feel like you balance everything?
It's a little bit hard, I will say. Family is my number one priority. Like, I don't know anyone that's obsessed with their family as much as I am. Like when I tell my friends, oh, I'm going home for Shabbat because my mom wants me home. They're like, what? Like, why? I live in the city now. So that's also why I keep saying home.
Far, far away.
No, I love it because, I think it's important to be able to be on my own for a little bit and then like crawl back into my mom's arms when I get home. But I really do value my friends. I'm a very, very social person. So I know this sounds crazy, but like my weeks are scheduled. Like I love to do things on a whim, but I also make sure to give at least myself one full day to myself, whether it be for a manicure, if I want to go shopping, or if I need to go to a doctor's appointment or schedule a facial. I'm very big into self-care, and I think self-care is a huge part of what I do because it's so easy to get burnt out. Like summer's coming up. My schedule is always crazy in the summer, but I'm so thankful for it because it really gives me the opportunity to be able to balance it all. And I work harder on myself to be able to achieve that. So traveling is not as easy as it used to be for me because sometimes it's hard if I have things scheduled in advance. I can't flake on the client. For instance, like in a few weeks, my grandma's going to Israel and I would love to go with her. And my plan was to go with her, but I didn't realize I had 2 bookings. I'm like, Grandma, I can't come. So that's like a big thing for me. I love Israel and I love my grandma even more. So that's hard. But traveling also gives me a lot of inspiration for the dishes that I do cook. And I am a very creative person. So it like helps my creativity, I would say. And exercise, no negotiables. I must work out every single day. It's not even for being fit. It's more for my mind than for my body. It like clears my head. It's just the time that I have for myself. It's just me and my workout. There's no distractions. You just get it done.
You sound like you're doing a very good job, Eileen, of making sure that a little bit of everything happens. I'm so
Very
happy you take a day each week for yourself because I think
It's like the most important thing.
I agree with you.
And like you always ask me, how do you do it all? I really don't. I really don't do it all. I just thank God I'm super organized and I make sure that the most important things get done first. And if I have time for something else, I have time for something else. Like it's hard with the days that I am working and my friends all call me, where are you? Let's go for lunch. I'm like, I'm working. I can't. Let's go for lunch. I'm working. I can't. So I won't allow myself to have distractions on super busy days because then it'll set me back a few hours. And like the clients are relying on me to be there at the time that their event's going to go off. And obviously you get there early to prep and set up, but 2 minutes off schedule, it ruins the whole day. So really, I'm very firm on it when it comes to me. I might be late everywhere that I need to go, but when it comes to my schedule, I'm very precise.
No, it sounds like you're very disciplined in everything, in the way that you're choosing ingredients from specific stores, in the way that really when people give you the opportunity to cook a meal for them, that they are really putting it sounds like in the best hands, because it sounds like you take it all very seriously. And
I do. I really do. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't, it's like I'm cooking for myself. Like I think about every party as if it's my own guests. So like it has to be the best that it could be because then what? They're not going to come back again.
You're right. Sounds like they keep coming back.
Thank you, Rasha. They do.
So looking back, we went sort of from like baking cookies to like fast forward to catering. Was there any moment when you feel like there was like a big break or when you were like, okay, this could really be something?
Honestly, I want to say like it really all flowed naturally, but it didn't because I really started doing cookies for 2 years before I did any food. And the only reason why I did food was because I had like that, I don't want to say fake Instagram account, but it was like really like a little facade of food that I would post.
Yeah.
And people would ask me for recipes and then more and more people would follow me and ask me for recipes. I'm like, okay, here's this, do this. I'm like, what do you mean? How do you do that? And I first started by giving cooking classes. So,
And I realized
also
that
another big thing that I really do. I give cooking classes. Most of them are private. Some of them are group classes, like within different organizations in the community. And it's great because really everybody always loves to learn a different technique or a different recipe. And no 2 people will make the same recipe the same ever. So it's nice to know that like you can learn something. Even if you already know it, you can still learn something from someone else. So I started cooking classes. And then once I started posting the results of the classes, people were like, oh, cook for me. So it really then spiraled into meal prepping. I had like a few meal prep clients before actually catering. And then I started catering. And now I do it all.
you really do it all. And I didn't even realize that it started after the cookies with cooking classes. Private is like one-on-one. Someone calls you and says like,
Yes.
can you teach me to make these few dishes?
Like right after this, I'm going to teach private. I'm going to go quick change and then go to her house. And we're doing Shabbat dishes today. So it's great because sometimes people really get frazzled when they're hosting. So another part of the class is learning how to host with a delicious meal without getting... Hosting comes in 2 different parts. Being there with your guests and actually enjoying it and cooking the food. So when people do private classes for specific things like Shabbat, let's say, it's because they want to learn the dishes, the techniques, and how to host better so you can be a guest at your own party. That's also something I pride myself on to my clients. A big thing for me is being a guest at your own party, and that's what I always tell everybody.
Are there any great tips for being a guest at your own party? Because that really is a skill and a talent.
It is a skill. So I really learned that for myself. A few summers ago, I threw like a crazy Italian dinner party, and then I did it for the last few summers with my friends just for fun because I genuinely love hosting. And it goes back to organization. So you have to also choose a menu that's not going to have things that are piping hot. So you have 3 things that are piping hot, but not all the 10 dishes that you're going to make. So it has to be a well-curated menu that sits either well the day before or can be assembled prior and you just dress it fresh, and things that could be plated prior. So also that goes to up at the table. So you have to really think about all the details. And then once you do that, it really ends up being seamless, and either you can hire help to help you bring out the food, or you could just allot yourself 10 minutes to go back and forth to get the stuff out on the table. But once it's out, it's out. Like, you don't go back in, you don't refill it. Whatever you have is what you have, and that's it. The guests will enjoy it. It'll be great. And when it comes time to dessert, either the help will come help you clear the table, or that's it. You'll allot 10 more minutes to yourself in the kitchen, switch out the dishes, and enjoy the rest of the night with your friends.
Eileen, you are really just packed with knowledge and advice and, help for all of us. And along those same lines, what advice would you give to someone who really is starting any business, starting something in the food industry, starting content creation, but you probably have advice for someone who's starting anything and is maybe hesitant about doing it?
Just do it, honestly. I remember people telling me, who's going to buy your cookies? No one's going to buy cookies. But now look at them. Everybody's buying the cookies. There's always a need for something. So even if you think that nobody's going to want it or nobody's going to need it and nobody's going to come to you, you'd be surprised that there's always enough to go around for everyone, and there's always a place for everyone. So just do it. Don't let anyone get you down. And even if it doesn't work right away, like, it's eventually going to work. And the more you work at it, the more it's going to work. So that's my little piece of advice. Just do it. I know it's someone else's slogan, but it really just works.
Yes. You and Nike. Okay. And my last question as we wrap up is, what is your next chapter? Like, what do you think about that you say, like, maybe one day I would do this?
Open a restaurant. It's always in the back of my mind. I always say it. It's something that I really want to do. But let's see. I told myself after I get married, that'll be my next thing.
Okay. We'll be waiting for the restaurant.
Hopefully soon.
I really, even though I know you so well and I see you all the time, I did not know a lot of what we spoke about today. And I have so much respect and love for you, but really admiration for what you've built in the way that you started and grew, and just how you think about being part of an event and teaching us how to be part of our own events. I think it's really all so incredible. And our community, I'm going to speak for everyone, feels very, very lucky to have you. And I can say that anyone who does an event with you is getting really such a special, valuable, and beautiful gift just being able to work with you.
Thanks, Melanie. That's so sweet. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you came. Thank you.
Thank you. See you in the driveway.
Thank you so much for joining us at Chapters by Propel. If you're ready for the next chapter in your career journey, give us a call. We're happy to help you with career coaching, navigating graduate school, or leveling up your business with some business strategy and consulting. You can email us at info@thepropelnetwork.org. Special thanks to Melanie Kuehl, our amazing host, to Hit Central Studios, and the amazing team at Propel. Good night.